So hopefully you've sewn up your sides. Don't, again, just like with your pins, don't sew the arms, don't sew the neck. Why? Because you have to put your arms and your neck through them. It's pretty simple. And the seam that I just explained to you is really simple as well. It's called a straight seam because you just sew straight up. You want to keep it pretty tight, pretty close together each stitch, because then it'll be stronger. There are stronger seams and stuff, but if you're just learning how to sew, just use the straight seam for now. And on the side, I will provide a website that has a lot of great seams for hand sewing. But the next thing you have to do is try it on again, because if these stitches are wrong, you want to find out now. Sleeves are actually pretty tricky. They're not as straightforward as making the body. With the body, we just traced and cut. We can't do that with the sleeves. The sleeves are a weird shape. So, first thing you want to do is get a long sleeve shirt or a t-shirt or whatever kind of sleeve you're going to do. Since my shirt has short sleeves, I'll just say I'm doing short sleeves. Again, it might be a good idea to try on your shirt that you're using, just to make sure that it's actually the length that you want. If I wanted my sleeve to be this length, all I would do is put this sleeve down on my fabric and trace along the sides and the edge. But there's one very important difference with sleeves. Now with sleeves, you can see that this is the outside of the sleeve, and I could just trace these two parts straight up, no problem. But you can't really see this on this camera, but the seam of the sleeve, meaning where it connects to this shirt, is a curve. My finger is running right along the sleeve, the part where it's connected. You can feel where it's connected. There's a crease and a bump. So it's a curve like this. So what you want to do is trace as close as you can this funky shape. I don't know why it works, it just does. Here is my flattened out S shape. It goes like this. This is just, I just did it by hand, I just winged it. The top, the circle part, should be on the fold. This is folded in half. The circle should be on the fold, and the flat part that goes under your armpit should be on the not folded part. You look on your sleeves at home, you turn your arm over, there's a seam down this side. The top, no seam. The underneath is where the seam is, and that's where you're putting it on this. So, you just do the same exact thing as last time. Pin it, try it on, if it fits, take it back off, sew right down this side, cut off the extra, and you're good. You got a sleeve. So now, you need to connect your sleeve and your shirt. This is sometimes a big pain in the butt. In order to connect a sleeve and a shirt, the shirt has to be inside out. So the reason for that is because you're going to put the sleeve inside of the shirt in order to sew it on. So the right side, the outside of the sleeve and the outside of the shirt are actually touching because the sleeve is inside the shirt, and the inside, the inside out part of the shirt will be touching the inside out part of the sleeve. So now you have to pin it. You should have some leftover fabric at the armhole part of your shirt. What you're going to do is make sure your sleeve is in there so that the fold is at the top and the open part is at the bottom. You want the open part here and the folded part of the fabric here. It doesn't have to be exact, but it should be close. Then you just have to take your fabric and your shirt and pin it together all the way around. So they're pinned together, the sleeve is inside the shirt is inside out. Those are the important things to remember. Shirt is inside out, sleeve is not inside out, inside of the shirt. They are pinned together at the armhole. And then you just have to sew around. Be careful not to sew it close. This has to stay open. So you want to sew around. You don't want to sew it closed. And if the arm is really, really, really big compared to the armhole, you need to take it in a little bit. If it's not exactly the same size, you should be okay. If you use the same shirt to trace the body and to trace the arms, you should be alright. So you're almost done. You have your arms attached, your body is made, you're just about there. But there is one more very, 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 very important step that a lot of people skip, and it's a huge cosplay pet peeve for me because it's so simple, it just takes a little bit of time, and it makes your costume look so much better. At the very bottom of your shirt, you have all this frayed, nasty, unevenly cut fabric. It kind of looks like this. It's not nice, it's not even, and certainly not sewn up. You don't want it to look like that. You want it to look like this. This is a nice, smooth edge that I took the time to sew up myself. This is actually called hemming or finishing or whatever. Take this raw, yucky edge, say this is the bottom of my shirt, or you have to do this also at the neck, or you also have to do it at the ends of the sleeves. Any end you have to do it at, because it's not sewn up, it's not connected to anything, it's just frayed and cut and nasty. So what you have to do is take it, fold it over once, fold it over again. Alright, I'm going to do that again. This is the outside of my shirt that everybody sees. This is the inside of my shirt that nobody sees. Hopefully. You take your raw edge, say at the bottom of the sleeve or the neck, and you fold it over once, and you fold it over again. And you pin it, you fold the whole edge, and you have to pin it so that it's folded over twice like that. The reason you do it that way is because if you get up close on this, you can see that this is a nice smooth edge, and this is a nice smooth edge. So you have a nice smooth edge on both sides. There's no fraying, sticking out, or hanging. Nobody's going to notice any loose threads. And all you do is the same type of stitch, keep it nice and neat, because this stitch is going to be visible. So that wasn't too hard, was it? You trace your shirt, you tie it on with pins, you sew up the sides, trace your arms, sew them up, attach them to the shirt, cut off all the extra, and finally, please, please, please do this last part, hem everything up by folding it over twice and sewing a nice, neat, even line. And that's all it takes, you got a shirt. You didn't have to measure anything. Isn't that nice? I hate measuring, I hate numbers, so I really like not having to measure. And that is the method, that is how I make pretty much everything that I make.